Commonwealth. Diane.
Thank you. Once again, I'm Diane Hahn. I'm a personal care attendant, and I'm a proud member, leader, and delegate of what I believe is the strongest union working for respect and dignity and compensation for workers. 1199 SEIU Healthcare Workers East, right here in the South Coast. I'm also fortunate to work beside this woman, the powerful Lisa Lemieux. Along with over 50,000 of my sisters and brothers, the sheroes and heroes who care for the elderly and disabled in our Commonwealth, dang mask, we allow them to live as independently and safely as possible in their homes and their communities. I have here a document. The letterhead is Governor Baker's administration. It was provided to PCAs should the need arise. This is an individual who was an essential personal care attendant for Mass Health Personal Care Program that provides in-home services and supports for populations vulnerable to COVID-19. This worker is required to report to work during the state of emergency and shelter-in-place orders. That's from our governor. Well, I had to use this document myself. It was necessary for me to check into a hotel at the time when they were accommodating only essential workers. I stayed there at my own expense in order to isolate myself enough to protect not only my consumer, but my family. Oh, okay. I was fortunate to continue my PCA work, even though it's just a few hours a week or a month, because other members in my house, the House of Hahn, my husband and my two grown sons were suddenly out of work. My husband is the nurse manager at a freestanding surgery center on Stanley Street right here in Fall River. They are a non-emergent surgery center. So those people lost their jobs months ago. I'm happy to say 3 weeks ago he went back to work. One of my grown sons is a member of the Sheet Metal Workers Union, also out of work. But his union is there to protect him. My other son is reliant on Mass Health and other services that depend on funding because he has autism, and he is trying to live as an independent adult. Now, my union was able to fight for us PCAs and win an increase in our pay, but it runs out July 31st, even though we are nowhere near getting rid of this virus. Most of our PCAs are women of color, and a huge number of them are immigrants who work incredibly hard and pay taxes. These sheroes are most often the sole provider for their children and elderly parents. To say that their hard-earned income is a crucial lifeline for their families is an understatement. It's easy to see how any loss of income is drastically detrimental to their family's survival. Won't cover my notes, sorry. An outrageous number of these honorable women of color live in fear of food insecurity, losing their homes and access to the crucial health care needed for themselves and for their loved ones. Because of my household's loss of income suddenly, I took a second essential worker job at the Stop and Shop in my town of Fairhaven. And that makes me a member of another union fighting for the rights of unions, the United Food and Commercial Workers Union. They were able to win a 10% appreciation raise, but it was terminated July 4th. Here's a letter from them, and I'll just read a few lines. At midnight, Saturday, July 4th, just ahead of a major profit-making holiday weekend, Stop and Shop formally ended essential pay for the thousands of workers across the Northeast. The company walked away from negotiating with the local UFCW unions, and they unilaterally cut workers' wages and ended the essential pay they need to continue to work under hazardous conditions to put food on our tables. my job and I'm cutting fruit and vegetables, I am treated every half hour to an announcement put out there for the benefit of the shoppers, how much they appreciate our hard work. How hypocritical is that? Appreciation pay gone, yet I have to listen to that 5 days a week. So meanwhile, I also have a third essential job as a child care provider to a toddler and her preschool sister. Happily, they just returned to my care just last week after a 4-month separation from myself, my husband, and my sons. And we are ecstatic because we love them as if I am their granny, not their nanny. My family is fortunate because I've been able to earn income from 3 jobs, and my husband did return to work, as I told you. So much to say for a little time. Hold on. Okay. We're fortunate, so we do what we can, donating to food banks and shelters. And I hope and I think most of you out there are doing the same thing, because it's going to take that type of investment in our fellow women, men, and children to pull us all out of this pit that was dug by the basket of deplorables running our country. It's time to oust the despicable administration of the current occupant of our White House and those in Congress. But more pressing, right now at this point in time, we must bring the hammer down on the billionaire companies that are exploiting all of our hardworking, tax-paying workers, and we must demand that they invest in our recovery during this national crisis. Together, we can fight and win what all workers in our Commonwealth deserve: respect and dignity and fair compensation. Because, say it with me, when we fight, we win! When we fight,